Hey guys, it's Erica and I have quite a few orchids in bloom and in spikes, so I thought this would be a good time to make a video. This here is the Vanda Roberts Delight Pink and it is blooming for me. It's in full bloom right now. Today is New Year's Eve, so happy New Year's everyone. And yeah, the blooms are pretty big. There's only 5 flowers, but they're pretty showy, so I am satisfied. And I usually have the blinds completely open, but that wouldn't have made this completely backlit and hard to film. So that's the first one. This one right here is another Vanda. This is a no ID Vanda. Cindy helped me get this on clearance last year, so this is the first time I'm blooming it under my care. There's one flower opened and a bunch of buds to go. Okay, let's see, what else have we had? So here's my big mess of orchids. This one right here up front, this is a Dendrobium mini purple, and actually it's on its way out. See, there's tons of spikes. I think there's double-digit spikes, but the flowers don't last very long, but there's just tons of them. Like I said, I think probably about 10 spikes. So yeah, very easy to take care of. Like with the majority of my orchids, I just try to water it when it gets dry, and I keep it on the shelf that's in my south-facing window. And I actually have a grow light sitting on top of it, and I think that's helping out this year. So it's off right now. I can turn on later to share, but this is grow light has the pink color, and I'm not a fan of the pink, but it does seem to you know, be the most beneficial for plants because it uses those specific wavelengths. But anyways, back to my orchids. So this one is a Neo Stylus Lucernary Bluebird, and here's the spike. I'm not sure what's going on here. So you see like one very mature bud, and the tip is just like really tight, and I'm not sure what's going on. Hope the other ones develop, but that one's that. Sorry, there's like no room here. I have this mini phal, and there's 2 spikes there. The Psychopsis right here, this purpley one, has 2 long spikes. I mentioned this in a previous video where the spikes can last, you know, up to, you know, 9-10 years. So there's no flowers on it right now, but I'm not touching the spikes because they can rebloom on those spikes. And you can see that big spray of little white flowers, or cream colored with a orange center. That's the Oncidium Twinkle. So not sure how many spikes there are, but there's a whole bunch, and I'm gonna probably try to pull it out so I can enjoy the blooms a little better. And they're nice and sweetly fragrant, very strong. I can, like, you know, smell it throughout this room. And there's a red or pink version over here. This bloomed first. So I'm not sure what it's called. It just labeled Oncidium Twinkle Red. I'm not sure if it's the Red Fantasy. And then right above it, this one's also on its way out. This is the Dendrobium kingianum Madame, or Madam. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And this one, also the blooms don't last very long, but there were, I think, like 12 spikes. So all together, since they're blooming one spike after another, it was quite a long time, I think. And it's very fragrant. This one smells like hyacinth, so it's very pleasant smelling. And I have a cattleya here with 2 buds right there. A species Paphiopedilum, and this one has 2 flowers. First time I've had a Paphiopedilum with 2 spikes. Let's see. I don't know what this flowers look like. This is like a Hochloglossum flavescens, and I think this, oops, it's not in the frame. This little spike should be a flower spike down here. I've never seen it in bloom, so that will be exciting. I hope that's a spike. Let's see. This one is a Schonorchis tixeri, and it was in bloom in August, and it's just looks like maybe starting to bloom now. Miniature orchid. Another miniature orchid. This one's in full bloom. This is Ascocentrum pulmillum. I posted this a picture of this on Instagram. So if you guys don't follow me and use Instagram, if you're interested, please follow me to see some flowers. So sometimes I post pictures because it's a lot easier than making a full video. Unfortunately, this one's not in bloom anymore. Oh, let me pull it off. It's the Akiko Sato Volcano Queen, and it is done. But it looked really pretty when I was able to capture this and the Kingianum in full bloom, and that's on my Instagram too. Let me show you this. This is the Bulbophyllum Rothschildianum red chimney, and I had a spike with flower buds forming, and the flower buds are actually starting to mature, and then I snapped the whole bud off by accident when I was moving things around. I was really upset. So another cattleya in bloom is, or not in bloom, about to bloom is this one. This is the, let's see, sorry, I'm like blanking. Let me need to find the tag. It's the Cattleya Pure Soul. So there's 1 sheath, 2 sheaths, and this one, the 3rd sheath in the back, and the buds actually are about to burst out. So it looks like this one has 2 buds, what I'm pointing at here. This one, I'm not sure how many, but you can see there's definitely a bud. And here you can see the dark shadow. And this one, there's a bulge here. I can feel buds in there. I'm not sure how many. So definitely gonna have some big white flowers. I think I did a video on that last year. So let me see. I think I have more down here actually that I'm missing. This is a Tolumnia down here where my hand is. And there's a spike here. It is not in bloom yet. Let me circle around. I have 2 of these guys. I'm pointing at the mini fowl that's variegated. You can see the yellow margins, and I have 2 of those, and they're both in spike. This one is a recent purchase from H&R Nurseries in Hawaii, and it was in bud when I purchased it. And look at all these teeny flowers. They're very cute. And so I went in November, and it's still blooming. So long-lasting little buds. And this one is, oh, let me just read the name off this one. This is Dendrobium Tiny Bubbles. It's a, I think it's a primary hybrid, and it looks like one of the parents' Dendrobium aberrans. Okay, and this one is Dendrobium numerale, and this was in bud when I purchased it, and look at this one, it's just blooming. Very cute little brown flowers, and there's buds all around. This one my husband bought for me in Seattle, and this is the Dendrobium cuspersonii. And the thing that's special about this one is the buds are supposed to last a really long time, like 6 to 8 months. So I am gonna see how long that lasts. I'm not sure if I can get to it, but in the back here, right where my finger is, this is the Brassivola little star flower. This is a sad two little mini orchids that got attacked by slugs when they were outside, but each of them have a spike. And the reason why I bought this one is the flowers are fragrant. So I'm really enjoying that. I have a bunch of complex phals, like this one has a spike, this one has a spike. There's some that do not have spikes, so I don't think these ones here have spikes. Oh, this is a succulent in bloom. This is the Drunkard's Dream. That's the common name. The full scientific name is quite complicated, so I'm not gonna say it, and I don't even remember it right now. But yeah, it's reliably blooms every year for me, and it's huge. It just like sits on top of my shelf, and yeah, it just lays over all of my other plants. Oh, and there's another complex phal right there. That's going to bloom soon. And let's see. Oh, I have, sorry, I'm moving around a lot. I'm not sure if I can get this right there, that dark bud next to my pointer finger. That's another Paphiopedilum about to bloom. I've never seen that in bloom. That one I got in April this year, and it was on sale because the bloom had got died already, or the flower had gone past its bloom. And then right next to that is a species Oncidium. The buds are right there. There's 2 spikes actually. There's not many flowers on each spike. But that one is a parent of the Twinkles. So yeah, it has flowers a little larger than this, I think, and they're pink, and they're also very fragrant, and they smell amazing. Oh, this one has been in bloom since I purchased it. So the first spike was the one that I bought it with. It was amazing. It lasted a long time, and it died. And then this spike grew under my care, and it's on its way out. So this has been in spike since I've purchased it, and I think this would be the first time where there's no flowers on it. Oh, and I'll have some in my kitchen window, but I think that's it for my shelf. Oh, actually, sorry. This is a Dendrobium Latoria type, and there are spikes forming, so more flowers. Very exciting. It's awesome to have orchids that bloom in the winter and fall, because it gives you some color in the long, dark winter. But yeah, I think that's it for my orchids. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Bye-bye. Okay, actually, I realized I left some orchids out. So like right up in the front, there's this one in bud, and this one is a Dendrobium burana Sunday. So that's that. And there's this hanging one right here. This is the one that takes forever for the spikes to form, but you can see the darker, so some of these are roots, but the darker ones are actually bloom spikes, and these ones take I think over half a year to bloom. I should have a video on this one last year as well, but this one has the teeniest of flowers along the spikes, and here's the name of this one. Yeah, so I think now that should be it for this shelf, and again I have maybe a couple others elsewhere, so I will film those and have them added to the end of this video. Hello, actually this is a couple of days later. I'm gonna finish up my orchids and spike and bloom video. So the one on the right is Dendrobium Velvet Melody Winter Wine, and this is one of the Phalaenopsis types. So I've never seen this one in bloom. When I purchased it, it was past bloom, so it was a little bit discounted, but unfortunately it looks like the buds are blasting, so you can see this one's dark and wrinkly. This one looks like it's blasting. Not sure about this one. It looks like it's blasting too. The ones on the tip look okay, but I'm not sure what happened. Maybe I forgot to water it, I'm not sure. But it sits inside next to my kitchen, so the temperature should be pretty consistent because, I mean, it's indoors and there's no drafts or anything near there. So maybe I forgot to water at some point, I don't know. So that's unfortunate, but this one on the left here is a Dendrobium Country Girl. Let me show you the tag. It's a Nobile type, and this one supposedly needs a winter rest. So that means you cut back on the watering in the winter drastically. So I haven't really been watering it. I did drench it a couple times, but otherwise I kind of ignore it. It sits upstairs in a cold room, and the heat is set to 60, so it only turns on once it reaches below 60. So I'm probably, it doesn't really get much higher than 60 unless, you know, the sun heats up the room. It's in a south-facing window. And actually these buds started, like, I didn't see the buds, but there were tiny bumps on the canes at the end of fall. So, I mean, they were already forming at the end of the fall. And you can see the old canes, they're a lot taller. I think these are the ones from the original ones. I guess my canes are a lot shorter, but they still bloom, as you can see. But the old canes lose their leaves, so they're deciduous. And the newer ones still have their leaves on, so the leaves do last like a season or two, or maybe 2 or 3. Yeah, so don't throw away your old canes and cut them off, because I have seen them rebloom on old canes, not indefinitely, but maybe for the next year. And yeah, so there's quite a lot of buds. I'm excited to see this one bloom. And again, I pretty much ignore this one. I do need to repot it. It's in its original container, and it's been, maybe at least 3 years now. So yeah, it's growing this way. So you can see all the roots are being produced on this side and going up and down. So you can see that there's a lot of green tips. So they're actively growing, which is surprising because usually indoors all the tips get fried because the air is so incredibly dry. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year, everyone, and wish you all the best for 2019. Bye-bye.